Go.
Imagine this. It's a normal morning. You rise from bed and you engage in your normal morning routine. You shower, you grab coffee, and you sit in the same spot that you always do. It's a peaceful morning, but it's a little bit too peaceful and you're not sure why. You turn on the TV and it's nothing but static. Suddenly a message comes across and you find yourself in the middle of a zombie invasion. It's the normal routine. Flesh-eating zombies, viral outbreak that's out of control, and you have to flee to the nearest city for help and safety. Panicked, you walk outside to where your car would normally be, but your car has been stolen. You find another car nearby, and it has the keys in the ignition, but it's a manual transmission, which you can't drive. You see zombies in the background, and these aren't the slow zombies, these are the really fast zombies, and they're coming your way. You'll run for a little while, but eventually that zombie horde's gonna catch you and you will be devoured, all because you couldn't drive a manual transmission. What luck. Today I'm going to give you the background on manual transmissions, and then I'm going to show you how to drive one. A manual transmission or stick shift car usually consists of a clutch, which is operated by the driver, usually by the foot, and the clutch operates to move power from the engine to the transmission. There's also usually a hand-selected gear shift. French inventor Louis Pichard and Émile Levasseur invented the first manual transmission, a 3-speed, in 1894. Several decades and several designs later, manual transmissions became standard in the 20th century. There are several benefits to driving a manual transmission. First, they're easier to maintain and repair. There's less wear and tear on the rest of the car and its parts. Generally speaking, there's more control over the car due to you shifting it yourself, which comes in handy in bad weather such as snow or ice. There's better fuel economy, again, thanks to you shifting the car yourself. And in my opinion, they're a lot more fun. Driving manual used to be a rite of passage of sorts, and in many cases it was the only way to drive a vehicle. According to the US News, currently only 5% of modern cars are sold with a manual transmission. In 1987, those numbers peaked at 25 to 30% of all cars sold were sold with a manual transmission. These days, manual transmissions are mostly relegated to sports cars, and even then, manual transmissions are more of an option and not standard. And now I'm going to show you how to drive one. Here you can see the driver operated gear selector. It's kind of hard to see, but first gear, second gear, third, fourth, fifth, and reverse. And on the pedal side, you will see that there are 3 pedals. This is the clutch pedal, that's the brake, and of course the accelerator. So when you start your manual transmission car, you always push the clutch in and you hit the ignition. Always leave your emergency brake on, because manual transmission cars tend to roll quite easily. Foot on the brake, emergency brake off, and with the clutch pressed in, you go over to reverse, which in this case is all the way over and back. And then you're gonna feather the clutch. And what feathering the clutch is you basically, you let it out just enough to engage the clutch without hitting the gas until you're ready. And we are backing out. Now that we are out of our spot, I'll keep the clutch pushed in, and I will go into first gear, feather the clutch, and give it a little gas. And then clutch in, second gear. And then when you stop, you push the clutch in again, otherwise the car will stall. And every time you stop, you have to put it back in first gear. And then you do the exact same thing again. Feather the clutch, come around this corner, clutch in, shift to second gear, clutch out, gas. When it's time to shift again, clutch in, third gear, clutch out, give it more gas. You're coming to a stop, so clutch in, back to first gear. Make sure no one's coming in the intersection, and feather the clutch, give it a little gas. It's kind of a balancing act. Clutch in, second gear. And when you're ready to shift to third gear, you push the clutch in and go up to third. And then finally, when it's time, clutch in and fourth gear. I'm gonna make a little U-turn. So I'm gonna shift it into neutral and second gear and engage in my U-turn. Stayed in second gear that time. You can do that if the power band is right for the car. Clutch in, third gear. And it's time to shift again, so clutch in, fourth gear. Now when I talked about having more control, I'm in fourth gear, I can shift down to third and the car will automatically start to slow down because of the restrictions on each gear in the car. So second gear, and I can make this turn without hitting the brake. Give it a little more gas, and third gear. And we're just gonna leave it there until we park again. And we're back in our spot in third gear so we can inch forward a little bit. All right, and we are parking our car. I'm gonna leave it in first gear. Clutch is still in because if you let it out, the car will jerk forward and it'll stall. And I'm gonna turn on my emergency brake and turn off the ignition. And at that point, you don't have to keep the clutch pressed in anymore. Transmissions, their history, their usefulness, and why you should learn how to drive one. There's no doubt manual transmissions have a place in automotive history, and it's something that's being quickly phased out. There's no doubt that you should drive a manual transmission while you still have the chance. Transmissions, their history, their usefulness, and why you should learn how to drive one. There's no doubt manual transmissions have a place in automotive history, and it's something that's being quickly phased out. There's no doubt that you should drive a manual transmission while you still have the chance. Mm-hmm.